Hey everybody, just wanted to do a quick prophecy update. I've been out of pocket on vacation and a lot has happened since I've been gone, so I wanted to do a quick update. I'm probably going to tackle a number of these issues that I'm going to mention today in the upcoming weeks, but I need a little bit more time to do some research and get all my facts in order. But I wanted to do a quick overview of how insane and demonic things are becoming in this world. The first thing I want to tackle, and I've tackled this in some of my sermons, but if you haven't listened to some of my sermons, we obviously saw the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and that blew me out of the water. This is crazy. This is insane what we saw, and obviously this was a moment where we saw a miracle. That those bullets, that just one of them glazed his ear, and the shooter shot, I don't know how many bullets, 7 to 8 bullets at him and missed, thank God. That's a flat out miracle. Now, the question then you and I have is, what's the purpose of this miracle? Well, we don't know yet. It definitely was a miracle. God saved his life. There's no doubt about that. You can see the providence of God in that in that event. Okay, the question then remains, what are the implications? What is the messaging from seeing a providential miracle? And that's what we have to follow, and that's what we're going to have to see flush out in the days ahead. Does that mean that was a warning to America, that you're that close away from falling off the edge? If you don't get this figured out and get back to Judeo-Christian ethics? I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to have to see that play out. But one of the things I want to bring to bear in mind is, and I'm going to take a little bit more time in another upcoming prophecy broadcast where I actually go through what the Secret Service did, because look, what the Secret Service did, I think everybody needs to be aware that it's one thing to get one thing wrong. It's another thing to get like 7 or 8 or 12 different things wrong as far as the Secret Service is concerned. And not to be conspiratorial, but when you see this lapse in the Secret Service at this magnitude, it tells all of us that something was allowed to happen, okay? This guy should never been on the roof. This guy was seen, he was flying a drone, he was seen at Home Depot buying the ladder, then the ladder disappeared, and then we have a bike with bombs in it, and we don't hear anything about that. How was he able to get on the top of a roof? They saw him, they didn't report him. How did this happen? And again, we've seen the lawfare against Donald Trump, and we've seen now an assassination attempt. And these people are willing to take people out. You've seen the deep state. You've seen the bureaucracy. You've seen Leviathan, okay? It had to show itself. And again, it's not that Trump is a saint or is going to save the country or anything like that. It's what Trump stands in the way of, right? It's the fact that he's not a globalist, and that and he stands in the way of the globalist agenda. That's what you have to understand. So a lot of Christians are getting wrapped up in Trump's personal life. I could care less about his personal life. That's not what is at stake. What's at stake is his policies if he gets in there as a president and to stop the globalist agenda. That's what they're working towards on him. And so we need to flush that out. But I want to take some more time and talk about this assassination attempt, because I think they regretted that the shooter missed, and I think they're going to try it again. They're going to do everything they can to keep this guy out of becoming president of the United States. So there's a lot to watch there. And then obviously what we saw is the cabal that controls Joe Biden told Joe Biden to step down because they couldn't hide him anymore. And then in his place put Kamala, which they didn't want to run, but they are forced to run. And so now Kamala's the golden child, even though she's the most radical individual they could ever imagine being put in that spot. But again, That's more of the cabal. I'll talk about that later in upcoming prophecy updates. Now I want to pivot to what's even going on in the church. And I'm going to take another full prophecy update on what John Rich, this musician, I think he's out of Nashville, spouted off on Tucker Carlson's program. And this John Rich is a Christian. He claims to be a Christian. And anyway, took a full frontal attack on the rapture and took a full frontal attack on John Darby and full frontal attack on the majority of evangelicals. And we've seen this with Eric Metaxas, and now we're seeing this with this musician. I'm going to unpack this because there's a lot that this guy said on Tucker Carlson, and unfortunately, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I hate when musicians decide they're going to be a theologian and jump out of their category into a subject area which they know nothing of, because it is obvious that this John Rich doesn't get it. He doesn't know church history. He doesn't know theology. And he must have read a book out there or watched a video out there, and now he's an expert on theology. So I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to unpack it and unpack the claims that he made, which have no basis in history. And we're going to talk about this because what we're seeing now is that there's an element in Christianity that's attacking the rapture, attacking dispensationalism, which is a proper way of hermeneutically interpreting the scripture, and then at the same time he attacks those doctrines, shows his true colors of saying that John Darby was connected to some Zionist movement. And then Tucker responds by saying, yeah, that explains a lot of the problems today in Israel, which Tucker has already come out with his anti-Semitism. So we're seeing a lot of conservatives come out with their anti-Semitism. So this John Rich feeds right into it, saying Darby was attached to the Rothschilds and there was money being funneled through him. And it's like, dude, are you out of your stinking mind? Where are you getting this? Are you just making this up out of whole cloth? And again, this is more of what we should expect in the end times. People coming up with fables and stories that have no historical basis. They just make stuff up. And then they go on a program like Tucker Carlson and spew this anti-Semitic venom. And so we already know Tucker's that way. And now apparently this John Rich is that way because that's called a blood libel. When you make stuff up and you aim at the Jewish people. And by the way, when you attack dispensationalism, you attack the rapture, and you say the church is going to go through the tribulation or whatever, that is a form of replacement theology. And replacement theology is anti-Semitic at its core. So I can already tell you, when I unpack this, it's not going to be pretty when I'm done. But we have these jokers like John Rich, Tucker Carlson, and now that segues into another anti-Semite, Candace Owens, who continues to show her true colors every time she opens her stupid mouth. She is nothing but an anti-Semite. She dismissed Joseph Mengele doing these bizarre experiments as, well, that was just propaganda, as if they didn't happen. Hey, Candace Owens, check history. Joseph Mengele did the worst of the worst to Jewish people. And you're going to dismiss that? And then she said Israel's committing genocide over there. Look, I've been on the ground in Israel 3 different times. There's no genocide happening. I don't know where she's getting this from, the left-wing media, or is it just her not liking the Jews? Because where would you come up with that? They're not committing genocide. I'll tackle that. And then she minimized the Holocaust. Why don't she go all the way and deny the Holocaust even happened? If you're going to minimize anything that went on in the Holocaust, that tells me you have a motivation that is anti-Semitic. And now we're not just seeing anti-Semitism on the left, we're seeing it on the right. And like I said before, the true north is, what is your position theologically on Israel? The land belongs to Israel. The people deserve the right to live and defend themselves. And now we have people in the conservative area going anti-Israel, like Tucker Carlson, like Candace Owens, and this musician that doesn't know theology, John Rich. We'll talk about that later on. The last thing I want to talk about is the blasphemy that happened at the Olympics. The Olympics, whoever organized it, decided, you know what, we're not just going to simply shove wokeism down people's throat. We're going to also blaspheme God and attack Christianity and attack 2 billion people on the planet, because that's what they did. And that's at the heart of demonology, the Satanology. It's not them just promoting it, it's them attacking. And so we saw some of the worst optics we could possibly imagine in the Olympics. The video that they played at the Olympics to promote the Olympics wasn't some dude jumping a high jump or some Olympic gymnast over here or someone doing the pole vault. No, it was 3 gay guys having a threesome. That's how they advertise the Olympics, okay? It's off the chart crazy. And then on the top of that, they had a drag queen, transvestite, carry the flame, the torch of the Olympics, which was crazy, right? Promoting this intersectionality. On top of that, they had an attack on Christianity on Da Vinci's Last Supper. You know what that famous picture looks like. And so what they did is portray that in all their transvestite transgenderism and basically mocking Christ with an obese woman and other transvestites portraying the disciples and Christ. It was absolutely insane, absolutely insane. These people are so demonic. Not only that, they had this guy that was painted blue, and I know it's in reference to a famous painting of them having just simply an orgy and just a hedonistic party. So they had this guy with the whole fruit stand and you know all the food you could want, basically celebrating hedonism, celebrating paganry, right? And then on top of that, there's always a golden calf. Now I know what Europeans say. Well, that's our symbol and of how Europe was founded, of a bull. Zeus took on the form of a bull and had sex with a woman. And so that's why in Brussels, you have a woman riding the beast, riding a bull. And so everywhere they go, they have a golden calf. So I find it ironic, or at least I should say par for the course, that you're going to blaspheme God, you're going to denigrate Christians, and then you're going to have the golden calf that you celebrate, along with your little pagan things. Anyway, I'm going to take that apart in an upcoming prophecy update, but this is the stuff that's going on. This stuff is off the chart as far as prophecy is concerned. I cannot believe we're seeing what we're seeing. But again, when people always ask, what did you think the end times would look like? It looks exactly like this. So more to come. I'm going to take all of these apart and probably do an hour-long thing on each one of them because it's so demonic, so crazy. And so how are we as Christians supposed to respond to all of this? I'll tackle that, especially the antisemitism. But let me say this. We have to push back. Christ said, when you're verbally insulted, we turn the other cheek. Okay, so we don't respond in kind verbally. But I do have the ability to speak the truth. And right now, we have to speak the truth to this demonic deception that's going on in the world. And so we have a job to do. We can't sit on our hands and just let evil do whatever it wants to do. You have to push back. And the way to push back is give people the truth. And push back, and you're going to have to do it in your family, you're going to do it with your friends, you have to do it with your neighbors, and set the record straight. And unfortunately, you may not be liked because of it, but that's what our responsibility is. So anyway, we'll tackle these issues coming up in future prophecy updates. Anyway, God bless you. We'll see you next time.